before? Me. All right, almost everybody. Who knows that? Who knows the name of the composer? Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, one of the most famous composers in the world, definitely the most important composer in the classical period, which is a little bit before Beethoven. Mozart wrote hundreds of piano pieces. We just heard his most famous piano piece, and it's known as... known as, by many names, the Turkish Rondo, Rondo alla Turca, the Turkish March. Why is that? What is Turkish on this piece? It's a very good question. Because thousands of people play this piece every year without asking, why is this Turkish? Would you like to know? I'm one of the few people who studied to find out. But hundreds of years ago, there was a war. There was a war in Europe between the Turks and the Austrians. And the Austrians were in the defensive. The Turks were coming very close to Vienna. It looked as if Vienna might be lost around 1683 or so. Now, the Turks have different kinds of languages than the Europeans, and they have different kinds of music. And they have different kinds of musical instruments, particularly the percussion instruments. Turkish instruments include the bass drum, the snare drum, the triangle, the tambourine. Most of the things that today we call percussion come from Turkey. And in those days, in Austria, was it good to be Turkish? No, they were at war. The church called the percussion instruments the noise of the devil. So everything was forbidden that was Turkish. And then there was peace. And everything changed. And then everything that had been forbidden was not only allowed, everybody wanted to do it. So all of a sudden, Turkish coffee, and Turkish baths, and Turkish instruments, and Turkish music. So this kind of thing that Mozart wrote, he wrote it because all of a sudden everything was popular that was used to be forbidden. That's another side saying why it's so good to be peaceful. And all of a sudden what Mozart wanted to do in this piece is to bring two worlds together. The piano, which is a Western instrument, and the percussion instruments of Turkey. So when you hear that should be like a percussion group. You hear that? Okay. That's why it's called the Turkish March, because it should sound like a whole drum group playing Turkish rhythms. All right, what is different about the piece I just played by Mozart, the piece I played earlier by Beethoven? Were they exactly the same? No! What is the difference? Put it into words for me, please, so that everybody can understand. Okay, which one was louder? Who says Beethoven? Who says Mozart? Which one was happier? Who says Beethoven? Who says Mozart? Which one was more sentimental? Who says Beethoven? Who says Mozart? Okay, what else could you put into words that you heard differently about these two pieces?
It's a bit more fast-paced.
Which one?
Than Mozart.
Actually, most of the time that's true, but not completely. Most of the time, the Mozart was faster. Most of the time. But there was that time in the Beethoven. So for a little bit of that, Beethoven was faster. But yes, you're right, most of the time Mozart was faster. What else did you hear different? I'm waiting for a real special answer. Sorry, I need hands. Give me hands. Okay, that's right. Partially that's true. Once again, like the speed, part of the Mozart, most of the Mozart was in the higher register, but there was that exception in the Beethoven where it's a little bit more extreme. The classical music is not generally as extreme as the romantic music. But what did you hear different about the two pieces? All right, I'm going to have to make it easy for you. What did you see different about the two pieces? Yeah, different sticks, right? Different mallets. Who noticed that I use different mallets? Okay, who didn't notice? All right. Talk about that for a second. Wait a second. Why would I do that? Why would I change the sticks? It would give the sound a different. Okay. Would I want to give the music a different sound? Do I want to make everything sound the same? No. Probably not. Probably not. When you were little girls and you used to draw pictures in art class, did you use one color or lots of colors? Probably lots of colors. Well, this is what I'm going to try to do in painting musical pictures. My job, if I want to be a good artist, a musical artist, is to find the different kinds of sounds that I can use in order to create a musical painting, not for the eyes, but for the ears. In order to do that, I have to know about the different sounds, or what we call in English sometimes tone colors, the different kinds of sounds that are available in order to create these pictures. I'm going to show you very quickly. These are the mallets I used for Beethoven. These are the mallets I used by Mozart. You see a lot of things different if you look carefully. Not only a different color, it's a different shape, it's a different material, it's a different length, and all of this has to do with the different kind of sound I get. And I'm going to show you, I don't know how much time we have, I think we have enough time, but I'll try to make this as painfully obvious as I can. Okay, this is what we call a bass mallet, because it's for the lower part. It's big because the bar is big. I'm going to play this here, and it'll sound like this. Is that okay? That's okay. It's a little bit weak. So let's put a little bit of strength behind it. That's better, isn't it? What about this? Help! Okay. Now you see, in the same case, it's the same instrument. I'm still using sticks, but the sticks are a little bit different, and that changes the whole sound. Do I have to play with all the same sticks? No. Not only can I change the sticks between pieces, I can play the music with different sticks at the same time to get different sounds. Just like in a conversation between two people. They don't have exactly the same voice. One talks or the other talks, and the two of them communicate. And between this communication, each one helps the other come to a higher level. This is what I'm trying to do inside the mallet that I use in order to get a color. I'm going to do something very special. This is going to be very cool. You need to listen very carefully because it's a bit quiet. With one mallet, I can still get a lot of different sounds. Just like there are primary colors and secondary colors and pastels, I can do the same thing with sound. Listen carefully. It's going to be very quiet. Difference? That's the difference between fundamental and overtone, the very deep sound of the same pitch. The overtone's way up in the air. Okay, so if I'm going to do this, this is what we call a bright sound. It has almost none of the bass. This is almost all bass. I'm not hitting it harder, I'm only changing where I'm playing on the bar. Now here, I'm going to take 4 sticks that are the same. I'm only going to change where on the wood that I'm striking. First of all, the light sound.